Students, shut up, sit down, or I'll remove you from existence. This is the Maxwell Theatre at the Cavendish Laboratory of Cambridge, not a pub crawl in Shoreditch. So sit up, stop puking and pay attention, or I'll feed you a greasy plate of toad in the hole, the way they did to us at Harrow in the late 60s. Now, I'm only here because those sub-functional great apes down at Job Search Plus have ignored my resume. And once more they insisted I read on theoretical physics if I can possibly hope not to be thrown off benefits. If only they had just read my resume. I truly am the last of the great Thespians. No, you wart-faced turnip, I said Thespian, not lesbian. So once a bloody again, I'm stuck here reading physics instead of reciting Shakespeare. The humiliation. You know, I once rode naked as Lady Godiva through the streets of Broadgate in Coventry. Eat your heart out, Alec Guinness. Also, it appears your latest professor of physics was devoured by a land shark on Bondi Beach in Australia while detecting neutrinos with a surfboard or some such nonsense. But never mind, I've never heard of a scientist who could play Lady Godiva, not the way I can. Now, sit still and be the vegetables you were born to be, and just assume Benedict Cumberbatch has been devoured by Somali pirates. I often do. And trust me, today's reading will be from someone who'd rather be naked on a horse in Coventry. Shall we begin? Well, sod it all, we are, so let's try for the Big Bang, but not the sort you get down at a Billingsgate's chippy. Yes, Nora Notworst does have some big bangers, but not big enough to start a bloody universe. The Big Bang explains the universe's rather dramatic view, starting with an improbable explosion of unimaginable proportions from an absolutely tiny point where space and time didn't even make sense yet. Imagine everything in the cosmos squeezed into something smaller than a grain of rice, and then poof! It was like Benedict Cumberbatch squeezing himself into yet another Sherlock role, improbable, implausible, yet somehow dazzlingly brilliant. That bastard! Now, this whole expanding universe idea wasn't exactly born in a quiet physics lab while sipping tea. Oh no! In 1922, Alexander Friedman, likely with a furrowed brow, thought, what if the universe were expanding? He quickly crunched some numbers, sat down his chalk, and left us with the Friedman equations, whatever the blazes they are. Meanwhile, Edwin Hubble, in 1929, casually discovered that galaxies were fleeing Earth faster than a drunken chimpanzee trying to grab the last banana at a dinner party, with their speeds increasing the farther they were. It was as if the universe was spreading out, like jam on toast, though not as sticky. Meanwhile, Georges Lemaitre, his name alone is enough to make you sound posh, completely unaware of his colleagues' work, threw out the primeval atom idea in 1931, essentially giving birth to the Big Bang. Great heavens, think of his genitalia! What his wife must have gone through! Look, yes, I know, I'm just reading these bloody notes, not writing them, and of course I know it's a metaphor! Actors don't think. I mean, look at Benedict Cumberbatch. No cognitive process has ever crept behind those dim eyes. All the same, Georges Lemaitre's wife must have gone through hell. Now then, returning to whatever waffle I'm reading for you this week. Naturally, the Big Bang spurred a variety of cosmological models to explain how all the stuff we see around us came to be. Picture the universe's evolution as one giant cosmic dinner party. Stars, galaxies, and even the stuff we can't see, like dark matter and dark energy, decided to show up. The Big Bang models have an answer for nearly everything, like why light elements are so abundant, a cosmic shopping spree in the early universe, or why the cosmic microwave background radiation is buzzing around like the leftover heat from an oven when it was still a bit too hot to be comfortable. Discovered serendipitously, is that a word or a menu, by Penzias and Wilson in 1964, this omnipresent microwave glow is, quite literally, the afterglow of the Big Bang itself. It's like finding a leftover slice of pepperoni that somehow still has the exact right temperature hours after the meal, although if it was pineapple pizza, we all would have left this universe long ago. Over time, this radiation cooled down to 2.725 Kelvin, a cosmic refrigerator temperature, if you will. This is an essential part of the Big Bang model, and its precise measurements have been a real treat for cosmologists and pizza lovers everywhere. Then there's the little matter of the flatness problem. No, not a physics issue involving pancakes, but a strange quirk in the universe's uniformity that was explained by something known as cosmic inflation. Basically, the universe stretched so quickly in its infancy, it's like Cumberbatch's ego being blown up at outrageous speed when he steals another one of my parts. However, even this cosmological recipe doesn't quite explain everything. For instance, there is also this annoying thing called baryon asymmetry, where we're all here surrounded by matter, and why antimatter has somehow exited the theatre and left us all with this rather peculiar one-sided performance. It also couldn't explain how at the Old Vic's performance of the Taming of the Shrew that Benedict Cumberbatch was not only able to play Petruchio, the shrew, but also the stage curtains. The stage curtains! Has Cumberbatch no sense of proportions? Imagine if Sir Laurence Olivier played a stage prop. It would be an outrage. But getting back to the science, now where was I? Ah yes, dark matter. Dark matter is like the universe's invisible but exceedingly heavy friend. It makes anyone who is sitting in the back seat of the car exceedingly uncomfortable, and nobody's quite sure who invited them along, but it's definitely pulling some serious gravitational weight around the corners. Dark energy, on the other hand, is a deranged lower-form gym teacher at Harrow who, like a cosmic slave driver that's whipping up the universe's expansion, sending the whole lower sixth form into an unpredictable frenzy like chimpanzees discovering eggnog. Just like a Cumberbatch. The Big Bang models are the universe's ultimate how-to recipe, explaining everything from light elements to cosmic microwave background, which, if we're being honest, is just the leftover heat from the universe's dramatic debut. It's like finding the world's oldest cold pizza at the back of the couch and wondering if it's still edible. And that expansion is still going on, as the galaxies are expanding faster and faster, just like your waistline from all that pizza. These models rest on two key assumptions. First, the cosmological principle, which insists the universe looks the same in all directions, sort of like your living room after you've turned off the lights. It's the same in every corner, whether you're observing from Earth or from your couch, or when you're crawled up in a ball after a night of absolute obliteration at a Shoreditch Bucks night. Oh, Nora, not again, Nurwurst. Second, the laws of physics are as dependable as your flatmate's cooking, which, let's face it, is both solid and turgid. After initial wild guesses, scientists tested these ideas and found that, yes, the laws of physics have stayed remarkably consistent over billions of years. The universe behaves as if it's playing by a rule book, only the rules are written in a language no one fully understands. And the cosmological principle? It's been verified to a precision of 10 to the power of -5. So the universe is a bit like your phone's battery. No matter where you are, it's about to run out. As for the universe's history, it began 13.8 billion years ago with a bang that makes your morning alarm sound like a fart in choir. From the first subatomic particles to stars, galaxies, and eventually life on Earth, the universe went from zero to cosmic party in record time. By the time multicellular life formed on Earth, the universe had already been expanding for billions of years. Talk about being fashionably late to the cosmic event. Meanwhile, on Earth, life started as simple single-celled organisms and worked its way up through plants, animals, and eventually us. Yet, in the grand timeline of the universe, we humans are just a blip, like a chimpanzee throwing a tantrum at a millennia-old Olivier Awards, and who the bloody hell is Mark Gatiss? But don't worry, the universe will keep expanding, and maybe one day it will look back on us and wonder, what were they thinking? Just like the acting of Mark Gatiss. Sorry? What's that? What do you mean I can't insult chimpanzees? Mark Gatiss basically is one. No, chimpanzees can't understand English, and neither can Mark Gatiss. Because they're bloody chimpanzees, you orangutan. Now sit down or I'll throw some faces at you left over from the previous lecture. Really, this bleeding woke mind virus has gone too far. Now, back to the lecture. Now the stage has been set and the universe has expanded, and the players we see are distant galaxies, quasars and redshifts. Truly a delightfully cosmic, mind-bending set of observations. One might say that the universe has bowled us a bit of a wobbly, and nothing says wobbly quite like the light from a far-off galaxy arriving slightly off-crease, like the universe itself has accidentally sent in the tea ladies for the final innings at Lord's Cricket Ground, only to discover it's a scheduled rugby match. But I digress. Let us start with the redshifts. No, not the red light clubs you get out at Shoreditch on Bucks Night. Rather that delightful little phenomenon that happens when light from galaxies and quasars gets stretched out like a rubber band pulled in all directions by an ever-expanding universe. Instead of light being your usual, calming blue, it shifts toward redder wavelengths. It's almost as if the universe is saying, "Oh, we're moving so fast, you can barely keep up with us," which is what I once heard Nora Nutwurst once yell out in ecstasy on a Friday night down in Shoreditch. But of course, science boffins, bless their hearts, don't just notice this change. They analyse it, twist and torment this data, just like critics when they review my parts. And here's the fun part. They look at the frequency spectrum of this tired light, trying to figure out was singing the alto in Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries that a star is singing. They match up the patterns of emission or absorption lines, those tiny spikes in the spectrum, which are like the high notes of atoms all called Brunhilde, interacting with light. It's almost as if atoms are playing a game of cosmic who crapped their pants in the chorus with us. Now that we have spotted these redshifts, we ask the all-important question, how fast is it moving away from us? We use the Doppler effect to calculate this, kind of like how a car's horn sounds different when it zooms past you. Only this time, instead of a car, we have galaxies racing away from us. We measure how far the light has stretched, and voila, we have the recessional velocity, how fast those galaxies are moving away, as if they're all trying to escape some cosmic traffic jam. And when we plot these velocities against distances, imagine a cosmic traffic map, we see a pattern. The farther away something is, the faster it's zooming off. This is Hubble's law, and it's like the universe is telling us it's expanding, like a balloon being inflated, but a bit less sticky. But wait, as with all things in the universe, things aren't always as straightforward as they seem. While Hubble's law implies that the universe is expanding uniformly in all directions, there's a small wrinkle, the infamous Hubble tension. Some measurements give us one value for the Hubble constant, and others, well, let's just say they're not exactly agreeing. It's like asking two people to measure the same thing and getting wildly different answers. But of course, that's what keeps scientists up at night, isn't it? That and reruns of Baywatch, grotty little creatures that they are. So there you have it, the Big Bang. The universe. Full of surprises, full of questions, and always ready to throw a yorker when you least expect it. And if you ever try asking the universe what's going on, it just stares back at you, just like Margaret Thatcher sitting on your lap on a Bucks Night at Shoreditch. The horror! The horror! I mean, seriously. Couldn't the universe come up with a better stripper for the Big Bang? None of it makes any sense. And I'm an actor. We know about not making sense. But nope, we're still here, trying to figure out what happened before the play started and what's going to happen after the credits roll. Keep 'em coming, universe. You're keeping us on our toes, and I'm just trying to find the exit. And so, you unproductive bags of feces, today's reading of the theories of the Big Bang here at the Maxwell Lecture Theatre of the Cavendish Laboratory comes to a close. Once more, you have learned next to nothing. Once more, I wasted my precious talent on minds with the intellectual capacity of leaking toilets. But that is not the point. All that matters is the blithering simpletons at Job Search Plus. Imagine I'm fulfilling their bloody obligations. Damn their eyes! But at least you washed in my eloquence. Theatre! All this without my once blathering about Benedict Cumberbatch, and speaking of my arch-nemesis, did you know Cumberbatch's approach to acting is like William Shatner in The Wrath of Khan? Khan! Or in this case, Cumberbatch! For Cumberbatch will take any role and turn it into a bathhouse on a Bucks Night in Shoreditch. Shoreditch! Now then, you less than homo sapient like gorillas, leave my sight. Slide back to whatever holes you were defecated from this morning, and please never ever attend my readings again. Even the sight of you reminds me of the time the critics undressed me with their lies for my Lady Godiva.